All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We've all seen the movies, right? A quick spin in a modified car or stepping through some glowing portal magically fixes the past. But Blaze X Maverick's definitive book, ChronoFallacy, completely shatters those illusions. It basically argues that the pop culture dream of time travel is inherently impossible. And today, we're going to look at exactly why. To do this, we're taking a debunker's journey to systematically crush those temporal dreams. We'll be looking at 5 rigorous pillars: theoretical physics, philosophical paradoxes, the energy problem, historical chaos, and biological limits. Let's get right into it. Pillar number 1, theoretical physics and the unbreakable rules of the universe. So Hollywood absolutely loves the idea of hopping into a DeLorean to rewrite history and fix our past mistakes. But actually, out here in the real world, scientific reality is governed by causality. That's the absolute rule that an effect simply cannot precede its cause. You literally can't have the smoke before the fire. Then you've got the arrow of time and the second law of thermodynamics, which tells us that entropy, or disorder, is always increasing. Think of it like dropping a delicate teacup. It shatters into 100 pieces on the floor, right? Well, the universe is never going to spontaneously reassemble that cup and float it back up into your hand. Just like you can't unshatter that glass, you cannot reverse the cosmic forward-marching flow of time. It's strictly a one-way street. Now, say you could somehow bypass thermodynamics. Well, there are still theoretical guardrails in place, like the Novikov self-consistency principle. Conceived by physicist Igor Novikov, this is basically a cosmic safeguard. It asserts that the universe actively prevents any actions that would create a temporal paradox. For example, imagine trying to travel back to unplug a time machine before it's even invented. According to Novikov, you'd probably trip over the cord, accidentally plugging it in, and causing the exact event you tried to stop in the first place. The universe acts like a rigid choreographer. It flat out refuses to let you rewrite the script, meaning anything you do in the past just fulfills the history that has already happened. Moving on to Pillar 2, philosophical paradoxes. Because honestly, beyond physics, the very logic of human agency just falls apart here. Which brings us to the ultimate logic trap, the grandfather paradox. Imagine traveling back to stop your own birth by preventing your grandparents from ever meeting. I mean, it sounds like a fun sci-fi plot, but it's actually a massive contradiction that completely shatters our concept of free will. Think about it. If you succeed, you're never born. But if you're never born, how on earth could you have traveled back in time to stop them to begin with? It's basically a short circuit in reality. Time travel turns causality into this tangled, impossible web of contradictions, where the cause and the effect just annihilate each other in a never-ending loop. So, it really makes you wonder, if time travel destroys the very logic of existence itself, can we ever truly rewrite our own history? These philosophical paradoxes alone suggest the whole endeavor collapses in on itself before we even tighten the first bolt on a time machine. If you find this analysis valuable, please like and subscribe to Knowledge Lighthouse to help us bring more truths to light. Okay, getting back into it, let's look at the insurmountable technological barriers locking us in the present. Pillar 3, the energy problem. To really grasp this, we've got to talk about Einstein's theory of relativity and time dilation. This is that mind-bending effect where time actually passes more slowly for an object as it approaches the speed of light. But there is a massive catch. Pushing anything with mass, like a ship or a human, to these relativistic speeds demands an exponentially massive, basically unattainable amount of power, because the faster you go, the heavier you get, and then the more energy you need just to keep accelerating. It creates this infinite loop of impossible energy demands. You'd literally need infinite power just to reach the threshold of bending time. To put this into a completely mind-boggling perspective, just look at the huge discrepancy here. Our entire planet generates a tiny, almost microscopic fraction of energy compared to what's required for a traversable wormhole. Bending spacetime means harnessing cosmic energy reservoirs way beyond Earth's capabilities. We're talking about the energy output of entire stars. Plus, theoretical models suggest we'd need exotic matter with negative energy density just to keep a wormhole open. Essentially, material with less than zero mass. It's a substance that looks great in chalkboard math equations, but exists absolutely nowhere in observable reality. All right, let's jump to the 4th pillar and see how this builds into an absolute nightmare for the timeline itself: historical chaos. So let's play devil's advocate. Say you miraculously solve the physics and the energy problems. Even the most well-intentioned intervention would cause an absolute hurricane of historical chaos. We all know the butterfly effect, right? If you travel back to observe ancient Rome and accidentally step on a vital insect or delay a messenger by literally 2 seconds, you might accidentally alter the outcomes of major historical battles. And then you introduce these massive ethical quandaries of playing God, deciding which parts of history deserve to be saved. The source text makes it super clear that historical integrity is incredibly fragile. You wouldn't just be changing one localized event. You'd unleash cascading, unpredictable catastrophes that could completely erase our present cultural identity. And for our final pillar, we look inward at the ultimate barrier: our own human limitations. Biological limits. Think about this. Even if the physics worked out and the energy was magically there, the human body and mind would literally unravel under the immense forces of temporal displacement. We are incredibly fragile biological vessels. Navigating the sheer gravitational forces of space-time would inflict extreme cardiovascular stress and basically tear apart our cellular integrity. You'd be looking at accelerated or decelerated aging in unpredictable spurts, like aging decades in a matter of seconds. And your mind? The cognitive dissonance of trying to process nonlinear memories, remembering a future that hasn't even happened yet while living in a past you don't belong in, it would cause severe psychological strain. Our brains simply are not built to process reality out of order. This definitive statement really encapsulates our entire journey today. Time travel, as commonly imagined, is inherently impossible. Yesterday is gone and tomorrow is forever out of reach. We are fundamentally bound to the present, governed by the unyielding laws of thermodynamics, logic, and our own fragile biology. So, I'll leave you with this. If the past is truly unchangeable and the future is out of reach, how will you choose to shape your present? By accepting these limitations, we might just realize that the only true temporal power we actually have is what we choose to do with the moment we are living in, right here, right now. There is immense value in having these complex ideas physically sitting on your desk to explore at your own pace. For the complete deep dive, own the paperback. Get your high-quality paperback edition on Amazon via the link in the description. Add it to your collection today. Please share this video and check the description for more.